All right, man. So, when you play in football, you always dream about reaching the highest level of the game, right? Which is the NFL, especially as a football player. And you hear about the big contracts, you hear about all of the lifestyles, the cars, the jewelry, the houses, the travel, all those things, man. But I want to share light on just how to get there. What was it like? What was the processes, the ups, the downs, the lessons learned, and the fun, of course, too. So my guest today, man, is none other than the Huddle legend, TCU legend. He was a Jet, but 49ers legend, right? And I'm a Niners fan. But man, I got Jeremy Kerley here with me today, bro. I appreciate you having me. You in the crib too, man.
Yeah,
What's up, bro?
yeah.
And so how you been, man?
Chilling, man. Taking time.
No seat.
Yeah, living life, man. Having fun. So staying out the way.
Hey, you the most laid back NFL player I ever met. Like when I met you, bro, you were just like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, yeah. Feel the same, bro. It's football that's just his job or my job.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's me.
yeah. Cause you were one of them people who I like you the epitome of things that I say, like football, like just like you mentioned, it was your job. And not who you were.
Yeah,
Right. So when I met you, man, it was like we chopped it up, we clicked. But I want to go back to Huddle, right? So you went from the league from a place that I ain't never heard of till I met you,
yeah.
right? So what was it like on your journey going from high school to what they call Power Five now, but back then they probably wouldn't call it that. But what was the journey like? Like how was it? Because you played multiple sports,
Yeah.
right? You was good at all of them,
Yeah,
and especially baseball.
yeah. All my thigh.
You was a dog at that. So why'd you decide football, and then walk us through that process?
Uh, I decided football ultimately because it was just like baseball wasn't as fun as football. Um, Looking back, and I would tell my son this right now, like, I feel like I didn't make a bad decision, only because how everything turned out, but I wish I would have taken the baseball route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I would have did that.
So one of those things that you mentioned that football was more fun.
Yeah,
So would you say that you're one of the people who you wanted to play the game because it was just something that you like to do?
yeah,
It wasn't like, oh, I got to get this because I'm trying to get my whole
yeah,
lineage out there,
yeah.
because y'all name is pretty dope and solid back home.
Oh yeah, yeah. We big. We pretty well known back, in Huddle right now. We got a couple of curly streets. Um, my grandfather, great grandfather, he had his own school. His name was Dr. Kerley, but he had his own school, and now they just dedicated a new elementary, in name of him. So yeah, we out there a little bit.
Okay. So, we all played ball in the era where it wasn't no internet, wasn't no social media, stuff like that. And you were from like a small town in a big state that is no football.
Yeah,
So what would you say was the biggest accomplishment? Because your family is already loaded with talent and, doctors, stuff like that. But you went to TCU. How'd that happen? Like, how do you go from Hunter to TCU when there's a bunch of guys out there who do good, right?
yeah.
What were you doing differently?
I want to say it was my mindset, but it happened on accident. I'm be honest. It happened on accident. Um, I didn't think about college like that. Like I didn't think about going to TCU. And to be honest with you, when TCU kind of reached out or whatever, I was kind of the first time I heard about TCU. And this was my sophomore and junior year. Yeah, so it was like that, and yeah, I'm the first in my family, amongst how other black kids are. To my first in my family to go to, a college, D1 college, but yeah, man, it happened on accident. I just love playing football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was fun for me. So when I went out there, like I wasn't thinking like, man, I gotta get these stats or like, man, we gotta get this. You know what I'm saying? This and like it wasn't like that for me. It was just my homeboy Josh playing my cousin, my other homeboy playing, like, bro, let's go have fun.
Yeah.
Let's show out on these boys, man. it took me to a great place.
So stuff like that, right? So you know what RPA does. So we kind of work with athletes and try to, get to where you went, right?
So,
You mentioned just having fun. So what advice would you give an athlete who's on that come up, who see a Kerley, who sees these guys that's at the level who want to get there? How do you have fun, but still try to pursue that D1 NFL life?
I think I want to say you set your goals, and you stand on your principles, but at the same time, like, it's a game. You know, football is a game. I would say I tried to use, now, as I got older, when I was in the league, I tried to use football to try to get me to where I wanted to be after that. So I kind of used it to, spring me into something else. But, as far as having, fun with it still, like, treat it as a game.
Yeah.
Treat it as a game.
So you think you transition from high school, transition from a small town, and then you go to this mega school in Fort Worth, right? How was that first year?
It was a little overwhelming. And especially because, I was very much like an introverted person.
Yeah.
So I was to myself, I had my group of friends or whatever, but I was very much to myself. What helped me, being honest, was I met my wife the first day of school. So and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that helped me out a lot, because it took a lot of those nerves away. And now I could just focus on ball. When it came down to it, the school was overwhelming, but at the end of the day, football was football.
Right.
So when I stepped on that field, I was good.
So what was probably one of the hardest transitions? Because, like you said, ball is ball, right? It don't matter. What was the hardest transition going from high school to college and being on that level and being a contributing factor on the team? You played your first year.
Yeah, I contribute. I would say the hardest thing for me was academics. Not even football related, just academics.
So we say academics, right? So I know people hear that and they think that the work is hard.
Yeah.
Was it more so just the amount of work?
Yeah.
Because math is math.
Yeah.
It's
on any level, yeah.
2 + 2 is 4.
Right.
But when we say academics as an athlete, it's like, okay, I'm on this level now.
Yep.
But I'm also getting this level of work.
Yep.
Right. So was it the academic curriculum or was it just the workload?
It was just the workload.
Yeah.
Like you say, math is math. 1 + 1 is 2. It's on any level.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was overwhelming, the workload I had to do. Coming from, Huddle at the time, that was a 3A school. Like, just I never wrote, a 7-page essay like that. I never, had to get up and speak in front of people, giving speeches and stuff. It was something that was new to me. And like I said, as an introverted person, like, it was nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? I remember, bro, I used to avoid going on a speech day to class. Like, I'm that kid that would duck off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was just, I was so nervous, like it wasn't me. But the thing that I also struggled with was, once you get behind on something.
Oh yeah.
That was my thing. I would, skip a worksheet or something or whatever it was, and it's like I had to keep playing catch up. And once that workload pile up, like, you better hope you best friends with that professor or something, and they help you out or something.
Yeah. You was ever on academic probation?
Close. Very close. I want to say, like, and this is me being honest, it's dang near every semester close like that. Like, yeah.
So whenever you're at that level, right, coming from high school, playing your freshman year, the academic load, how was that off season? Your first off season?
So my first off season, it was a lot of, makeup work that I had to do for school.
Yeah.
Just to get, my GPA back right where I had to be for the next year. But as far as like the workout stuff, juggling that with school, um, I wanted to play baseball.
Yeah,
Like,
I was about to ask you that too. Yeah.
yep. So I went to the baseball team, um, worked out for him a little bit, and the coach told me, he was like, you don't even have to do the workout. Like, if you want to play, I got a spot for you. Come on. But my TCU coach, Gary Patterson, he was like, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. So he shut that down, man, and it was all football from there. When I say it was all football, it was
Yeah.
workouts every day, lifting, running, how you know what I'm saying, you diet every day.
Yeah. So
It was tough.
So this show is really about like the transitions, right? So you were what, fourth sport athlete in high school?
Yep.
So you never had an off season in a sport.
Nuh-uh.
So that transition to go to college, and now you're doing off season work where it's no games, there's nothing you playing for. You were literally just at school, like
Yep.
working out, running, going to class.
Yep.
How difficult was that to manage that new transition, and just like, I'm just going to school now, like in the off season you're just going to school pretty much and working out.
Yeah. It was, luckily for me, like I said, my wife now was, my girlfriend back then.
Yep.
So like, she helped me out a ton. She kept me focused on in that, and I had my son when I was young. I had my son so the end of my freshman year, sophomore year of college. So that kept me motivated and in the right place too. But yeah, it was tough, man. Like, it was hard. Like, it's almost like it wasn't no motivation.
Yeah. And
Like,
that's the hardest part, bro. I try to tell everybody about that piece. And your wife ran track,
Yep.
so she was in season, you was off season.
Yep.
So that kind of helped out a little bit too, because she was on her stuff.
Yeah.
So you had no choice but to be on your stuff. I
Right.
said, hey, you gotta find people in the off season.
For real.
Well, in your off season, in the in season too. So
Yep.
so you left. You did all 4 years at TCU, or you left
Yep.
early?
Nah, I did all four.
Okay. So when did you know you were a draft prospect?
Um,
And how did that process work? Let's talk like how do you know when it's time for you to like get slided there?
so I would say when the agents kind of start flocking to you a little bit, that's when you know, kind of, okay, well, other than ESPN and your name being all
Yeah.
over there, like, if these agents are starting to come flock to you, all right, so I might be worth something. My draft stock might be up there a little bit. So yeah, that, and I mean, you kind of know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of know. It wasn't a question for me if I was ever gonna leave, early, but did I ever think I would get drafted like that? And even like, at this time still, like, I didn't think about going to the NFL. Like, I really didn't have a plan until it happened.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they came at me and was like, yeah, man, like, you're a punt returner, you're a receiver, like, NFL coaches look at this. I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool. Like, shit, let's get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it's just, like I say, it just happened. But luckily for me, it happened like that.
You are a true, like, when they say people like humble, you're one of them people that's like, okay, in high school, it's like, okay, well, he's at TCU, cool.
Yeah.
NFL, all right,
Yeah.
cool, right? What's the mindset now that, okay, there's no more football,
Yeah.
right? And I'm actually a question real quick. You got your degree?
I literally got 10 hours left.
We're gonna pin that right there, 'cause that's my thing.
Yeah.
So
enough.
So you play for, you go to the league.
Yep.
You have no plan though, but you in that joint.
Yeah.
What's the transition like from college to the league? Because you went to the Jets.
Yeah.
You went from small town forward to New York. What's that transition now? You got a kid and stuff, and you in this whirlwind of the NFL.
I'll tell you, and it's two different sides of it. It's the football side, and then it's the every, day-to-day side.
Yep.
So being in New York, just the day-to-day side, like, I didn't think people would, kind of notice me like that. You know what I mean? So when I got out there, and everybody was cool too, luckily, for the most part.
Yeah.
New York is New York, like some dogs out there. But it was cool, man, but I had to move different. You know what I mean? Because, when I was in college and stuff, it's almost like every college town is like it's friendly. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a college environment. Everybody almost kind of knows each other and stuff too. So it's like it's friendly. But in New York, it's
Busy.
It's fast paced. If you in the way, you're gonna get ran over. Like it's like that. So it was a culture shock. Like, I'm saying, like I'm friendly, you know what I'm saying, to a point to where like I'm saying what's up, hello to everybody. Not out there, they head down, they walk right past you, they gonna look at you like, who you talking to? So it was different. But in the football side of it, New York can humble you real quick. They got a great fan base, but they got a real fan base, like they're not gonna hold back nothing. You know what I mean? If you're not balling, they're gonna let you know. And you need to tighten up. Like, so on that aspect, and I wasn't used to that, at TCU, like I never got a negative comment. Like I never got oh, you suck, or oh, you trash. Like I never got that.
So now you're a professional athlete. You in the league, you're playing professional football. But do you consider yourself a professional?
No.
Why not? Why not?
At that time, I would say my rookie year, I didn't understand how to carry myself like a professional athlete. I just looked at myself like an athlete. Like it's almost still like college to me. It wasn't until that second year when a couple guys got hurt and I turned into that number one receiver. And it was like, oh, this is what they mean by professional athlete. I didn't leave the facility. I literally stayed up there 24/7. Like, practice was different. Like, the workload was different. Like, it was, now I have to treat this like a profession or a business, because if not, like, for one, I'm gonna get hurt.
Yep.
And for two, like, they gonna bypass me. Like, it's all right, he can't do it, all right, on to the next one can.
So you said the practice was different. It was different because they gave you more responsibility?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was so, I was a fifth round pick. Slot receiver at that, and they was slot receiver.
Yeah.
So my workload wasn't that big at first. If we go, three receiver wide on the field, or three receiver set, like now I'm on the field.
Yeah.
But when guys got hurt, I think Santonio had got hurt, Stephen Hill had got hurt, and I think it was somebody else, but those guys went down. Like, I went to the number one receiver. So it wasn't like just slot receiver.
Right.
Like, it was not, you in the single receiver package, you in the two receiver package, like, you're not getting off the field.
Yep.
And it was different. Practice went from running maybe like 600 yards at practice to running a good 2,000, 3,000 yards of practice every day.
So break that down, because somebody might watch this and say, y'all ran 5,000 yards. It was just more so like the amount of plays you was in.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
because you was in so many plays, this is
yeah.
So that athlete to professional phase is, okay, my body needs to be able to hold this workload now.
Yep.
So how did workouts change when you became the dude?
It was a lot more, stretching. It was a lot more cold tub rehab stuff. Even though, like you said, I wasn't hurt,
Right.
but rehabilitation, like for me, was key. Like I had to make sure my body was able to perform the same way every day. So yeah, like I said, when I said I lived in the training room, like I had to live in the training room. I had to do that every day because if not, like I couldn't afford to
Yeah.
be sore or hurt like that.
So that mindset, so you went from college, and then, so, college, like we always say, I'm only going in the training room if I'm hurt.
Yep,
But now you on this platform, you in the training room so that you don't get hurt.
yep.
And that's the difference with that professional transition, right? So you also did something in the league too that most people don't get. The second contract.
Yeah.
Now, how was that?
Oh man, it was.
I would wait until you get to this one, because that's where, like, the mindset changes. Like, you see a lot of dudes, like, their whole demeanor shifts when it's like, contract too.
Yeah. Some people let out the gas. Some people, some people turn up or whatever. But for me, and I'll reiterate and say what I said. Again, like for me, it wasn't. It was just fun. You know what I mean? Like I accidentally ran into my second contract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it kind of just happened, and I was like, "Oh, give me this. Cool." But it was the best feeling I ever felt. You know what I mean? Like coming from Hutto, like that small town or whatever. Going through what I went through. You know what I mean? Like having flashbacks, seeing my mama go through what she went through. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now that I got this, or had the opportunity to make this, like it was everything. Like it was cool. It was fun. But I didn't take my foot off the gas. You know what I mean? I kept balling. Like the money was good, but it was almost like then when I got it, like, okay, let me show you why you gave it to me.
Yeah. So professionally, do you look back on that second contract and say, I should have asked for more?
Yeah.
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 Knowing what you know now, and you probably would have.
Yeah. And not even just knowing what I know now, like, so, and this is how a lot of NFL teams, they'll kind of get, or I won't say get you, but you just gotta pay attention, or you know what I mean, like they'll run over you a little bit.
It's business.
Yeah, I got labeled as a slot receiver when I got my second contract. You know what I mean? So when it comes time to, you know what I mean, disperse that money or whatever, it's like they put you in a group of guys, and it's only like a group of inside receiver type guys. Say like, okay, well, this inside receiver, I just throw out, Devon Bass at the time or whatever.
Okay.
He's the highest paid slot receiver. He's making such and such. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But for these last 2 years, like, I haven't just been a slot receiver. Like, I was your number one receiver, you know what I mean, taking 50 snaps a game at such and such and such and such position. So I'm like, when it came for contract time, I didn't expect to be, paid as an inside receiver, slot receiver. I wanted to be paid as a receiver, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it didn't happen that way, but looking back, I would have stood my ground a lot more, and I definitely would have asked for more. I felt like my value was up there at the time.
Yeah. So you think about that, right? And the time in college, what did you learn that you carried over into the league? Because saying what you're saying now is like, okay, I would have stood my ground, but in college, did you have that demeanor in college?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. So I definitely wish it would have carried over. I wish I would have had that mindset in college. And it's not to say like, you gotta, bully anybody or whatever, but you just if you know your worth, and if you know exactly what you want and what you can, like, go fight for it. You know what I mean? And stand on your principles. You know, um, I felt like, you know, looking back now, I felt like, man, I should have been paid as an outside or, you know, just overall receiver.
Yeah.
I should have stood on that. I didn't, and you know, it still, you know, still bothers me a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Like you left money on the table. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I asked you about your degree, right? So you got a couple hours left on that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you started getting traded, started going to different teams.
Yep.
Were you ever at a point where you was like, oh, this shit might not continue? What's next?
Yeah. I would say for a split second, I was, and I know it's crazy to say, but once I left school, um, at that time, I had no intention on going back. I was gonna leave that 10 hours on the table. Like, I'm good. I can go ahead and get this money down straight. Like, I don't
Yeah.
forget that. But yeah, I would say after I left in 2017 with the Jets after I had got relief, that's when it was like, okay, like, what's next? Like, what's really next? I can't just go sit at the house and just,
Kick it.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me go get right. So then I started the process of, you know what I mean, asking, you know, the academic guy at TCU, the one that was there when I was there, like, hey, what do I need to do to finish these 9, 10 hours and stuff? And we got that ball rolling, but as soon as we got that ball rolling, you know, I got the call from Buffalo. Like, hey, come over here, and you know what I'm saying? I put it right back underneath that carpet. Yeah.
So when did you end up at the Niners?
So I ended up at the Niners in 2016. I was in Detroit, and it's just Detroit for whatever reason. It wasn't a good fit. Um, Detroit is a unique place.
Yeah.
It's a unique place, but yeah, it wasn't a good fit. You know, they had just got was Anquan Boulder. I think I was there for like maybe 2 months on the off season, month and a half, 2 months, and they had brought in Anquan Boulder. You know, and I was like, man, so
Yeah.
we played. You know what I mean? We both slot receivers. What you bringing Anquan in for? Y'all trying to tell me something? So and at the time it was the GM for New England that had came over there to Detroit, and he was a competition guy. Like you know, he wanted guys to compete for the job, but it wasn't a good fit, and they traded me out to San Fran, and I was probably the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah. Cause you were there with Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So watching him, cause he was smart in college too. Boy was a genius.
Oh.
Did you start to say like, dang, like they about to get him out of here? I need to be figuring out what's gonna be happening with me next.
Yeah. Man, when that whole situation happened, I came in on kind of on the back end of it, but it was surreal to the point to where, like, you know, he did it, and then, like, you know, you kind of think back to where, you know, a situation might have happened with you, you know, and you were, you know, in that situation or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I see what he's talking about, but it was never a hiccup in the locker room.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that too, like, he divided the locker room, and like, nah, like, he was.
But I would ask you this though. So do you think he was able to do that because he had a fallback opportunity with what he put in position before he got into the league, right?
Yeah.
And not saying that, oh, if it was you, would you have done the same thing? Because I ain't trying to like call you out or whatever, but would you have had that kind of courage knowing you didn't have a plan entering or exiting?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have took that route because, you know, for one, my mindset has always been, and not to say his mindset is not,
Yeah,
but like my mindset is I gotta feed my family. You know what I mean? I can't afford to, you know, get removed from this situation
yep,
because, like you say, for one, like this is my backup plan. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and like, nah, I can't afford to, I can't afford to do that. But you know what I mean? Like, he did have, he did have a good backup plan. You know what I mean? The Cap is very intelligent, very smart.
yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Hats out to what he did. Like it woke up a lot of people.
It did, So now that you wrapping up the league, right? So what does Jeremy Kerley want to do? Because you tried like most athletes, you tried your feet in
Yeah.
coaching,
Yep.
right? How was that transition?
Whoo. That's tough. It's tough. And like I told you before, um, a lot of coaches, and now that I've done it, a lot of coaches, they try to push all this knowledge off onto kids. And me being, having this knowledge from the NFL, I try to push it off on these kids, and then I was, upset when they didn't get it as fast as, as I feel like they should have. But like they weren't there yet. And it wasn't their fault that they wasn't
Right.
there yet. Like everything was a process. But to me, like I didn't know how to maneuver kind of through that process. Like, so coaching for me was tough. It was real tough. At the same time, I'm still glad, I had, a boss who, what I mean, was patient and, kind of slowed me down a little bit and helped me,
Yeah.
work with it too. So, but it was tough though, man. It was fun, but it was tough.
So would you ever get into coaching? Is that something you want to do?
I would coach my son. I would coach my son. Like, so even now, like, everything's done, football's done. I devote all my time, all my energy into making my 14-year-old son, this kid, the best dude that he can be. He's a baller. Um, he takes football a lot more serious than I ever did.
Right.
Like, and that's a lot of these kids now. Like, to these kids now, like, for me, they already, most of them kind of prepare like they in college or like they trying to go to the NFL.
Yep.
You know, some of them, they still got the whiny attitude. Like, you know what I'm saying? They ain't built how we was built.
Yeah.
But they got a lot more available to them. So, and some of them, they take advantage of it. And he's one of the kids that take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So,
And so we see things now like in the space which you got Dabble with his son was at the thing, and then the Scoop family was there, and then you got Prime and Shador, Charlo, and all of them. Getting into coaching, because you mentioned that you'll coach your kid. Would you ever take that route, like working with him in high school and then trying to get into the college space with him and all those things too?
yeah, definitely. And the reason I would is not only because I want to see him, succeed, and that's my son or whatever, but when I'm coaching my son, I've seen his game, elevate because, he gravitates towards, my style of coaching. And then when he gravitates, his game starts to elevate. Like, I start to see the people around him, elevate. So, I know if I was to, coach my son, I feel like, his knowledge and his vibe and energy like will rub off on his teammates and stuff, and you know what I mean, and we could all kind of take off.
So it's a thing, right? So all the ex NFL guys are right now having tough times either trying to become a coach or being accepted as a real coach. What do you think y'all missing? Like, because it's like, if I was playing the shit, I want to be coached by an NFL dude.
Yeah.
But for some reason, y'all don't get that acceptance or just the entry. So what do you think y'all missing?
A foundation, like a ground zero, like, and And you told me this before. A lot of coaches, just because you coach at this level, NFL or college, or played at this level, NFL or college, like you expect to, just come in and know everything, or come in and you at this point.
Yeah.
Nah, like coaching, it doesn't matter if you've been to the NFL or whatever. Like when you come in for coaching, everybody's here. Everybody's here. Like you got to grind, you got to work to get yourself up here. Some guys come in, or whatever, and they might be up here, you know what I mean? But for the most part, everybody right here, everybody on the same plane. And I think a lot of NFL guys and stuff, and a lot of college guys, they don't respect that level of it, and it hurts them.
Yeah. So question, so whenever you was getting them playbooks that was like this big, with all the rules and the adjustments and stuff like that, when you studied the plays, did you study it to run the play or understand the philosophy of your coach?
Understand the philosophy. Yeah. Understand the philosophy. Now you talking about when you was
an athlete.
Oh, okay.
When you was playing, when they gave you the book and it was like,
yeah,
that's what you got for Monday.
Yeah. I never tried to, like study it play for play. Like I always try to get the whole, like, just let me get the concept. You know what I mean? Let me get all these 2x2 concepts down. Let me get all these, bunch concept downs or trips concept downs. Because I'll say this, for the most part, football is football.
It is. Terminology just changes.
Football is football. Language, it'll change a little, but a slant and an arrow concept, everybody in football run it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just people call it different things. So, you just try to make it relate to something. Try to make it click somewhere in your head. That's how I got it, But like you say, when that playbook is that thick, like you gotta be a student of the game.
So I do stuff like whenever I think about football and being at the highest of your craft, right? That's like doctor level. It's like or PhD level.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go become a doctor and just like fall into it.
Yeah.
So if you're an athlete, you should be taking your craft as serious as somebody who's going to become a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So so I know you then went from being the man in high school, the man in college, 2 contracts in the NFL. What are like 3 tips you would give an athlete on going from high school to professional?
The first thing I would say is know who you are, know your worth. First of all, a lot of kids, they think they D1.
Yep.
But in reality, you're not, and you bypass everything that these colleges down here offer you because you trying to get up here, and then when that don't happen, then it's you trying to double back, but they didn't already sell. So know exactly who you are, know your worth. The second thing is no substitute for hard work. Like, it's everyday grinding, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's corny and some guys be like, you know what I mean? When you all out here sleep, I'm out here grinding. Like, it's not necessarily, it's not real, but it's just it's a mindset. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always trying to one up everybody, whether it's, working out doing one more rep, whatever it is, like always grinding, always trying to get to, the end goal. And so the third thing is probably one of the more important things that I think is just having, the right people around you.
That's a good one.
I think so. My homeboy Courtney, his sister's boyfriend told me one of the realest things that I ever heard, bro. And I tell my son to this day, And he was like, I was in high school. He was like, I guarantee you, bro. He said, how many friends do you got right now? Like friends, like homies, friends. Like I said, I got like 10 of them, man. My dog, I got 10. He said, okay. He said, by the time you 30, he said, out of them 10 friends, bro, he said, I promise you, you probably only gonna talk to 2.
That's real.
I said, you probably only gonna be cool with 2 of them. And I ain't like dude like that either at the time. You know, so I used to bump heads with him. And he was right. Like I only got one friend that I mess with like that in high school. And not to say like, you know what I mean, like I don't just rock there, but
Just transition.
yeah, man, everybody has different paths in life. You know what I mean? Some people, you know, elevate to this, but you also have some people who will literally hold you down and hold you back. But you gotta identify and, you know what I mean, and weeding people out quick. So yeah, that third thing is huge, man. If you want to get to where you want to get to, you know, you got to put the right people around you. Your work ethic, the right people around you, and you know, know who you are. You have a plan.
So now I want you to give tips to your fellow NFL people, especially the ones who don't get that second contract.
Yeah.
What should they be doing right now? Like, you're a rookie, you entering the joint, and you may or may not get that next contract. What should you be doing to exit properly?
To exit properly, we talking about when football's over with.
Yep.
Save your money. Always save your money. Save your money, and whatever you want to do after football, I wish I had did this. Whatever you want to do after football, don't start it after football.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, start it now. You know what I mean? If you want to be a real estate agent, if you want to be, you know, a coach or whatever, like, because a lot of these, you know, NFL teams, they have programs that, you know, will help you get to that point. So it's like, it's nothing that can hold you back from doing what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta be smart and be willing to go do it. Like, have your plan ready before you, and this is honestly, have your plan ready like 2 or 3 years before you like, it's my last year.
Yeah. Because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes from being in high school, college, you know, this might be my last game.
Yeah. I know.
You know.
So, I know a cat, I won't say his name, because
I don't, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know drama.
But he knew, you know, he was in the league and he knew it was coming down to the end. And he literally, bro, like, he literally started putting his other business, you know what I mean, before football, like before, you know what I'm saying, his job and what he was doing. And I mean, he transitioned nice. You know what I mean? Like, so if he was done with football, like, it was right into that. And, you know, it elevated him, like, you know what I mean? And he didn't have to, it wasn't like a, all right, dang, what I got to do now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like going through that depression and, you know, having anxiety issues, because that's real. You know what I mean? Be honest, you know, I experienced a little bit of that myself when I got done, you know, with the league and stuff, and I still fight through it. So, I mean, it's surreal, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you've always been an athlete, like, it's just all you know, you're an athlete. It's tough, man. It's tough when it's all said and done and all that is, you know, it's took away from you, you know, for whatever reason, whether, you know, it's outgrown you outgrow it, you know, like, it's tough like that. What are you doing now? What's next? You know, if you don't have that plan, like, it can eat you alive, man. It can eat you alive, for real.
So you're a competitor, dog, and we're gonna wrap up on this one. So you're a competitor, and I consider you like one of my brothers too. So today is April, what, 24th?
23rd, 24th.
So I'm gonna challenge you. You got 10 hours.
Okay.
You need to have them 10 hours finished by next year this time.
Okay.
That's like a drop in a bucket.
Yeah. Right.
Because I want to see you finish what you accepted, because you committed to TCU for education and athletics.
Yeah.
And you did the athletics part. You got this much left on the academic part. Whether you use your degree or not, it's just being able to show your son, like, I committed it, I finished it, and I got proof on both sides. I got this, and I also got this. So whatever you commit to, this the next step, right? Because what you don't want to do is look back, and then your son is 22, and then he has that decision to leave school or stay in school, and you try to give him that advice, and he says, well, you ain't finished.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
as much as I want to, I mean, like,
you're not leaving.
Yeah.
Right, because although it'll be truth, you want to see him do better, but you can't ask him to do better if you ain't, so I challenge you by the end of next year's semester, have it, just knock out your 10.
And then it'll, the good thing about TCU, to me, is like, I say good thing. You get to, I could take all the classes here, if I need to, online. The last, I think it's the last couple of classes, but you got to finish on TCU.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not really no reason why I couldn't. You know what I mean? It's just, you got to go do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, I accept that.
Knock it out. Let's show the work.
But before that, let's talk about this, bro. If you got time.
I'm chilling.
I'm gonna ask you a question. For you and your team, your brand, your college, how do you feel about this whole transfer portal situation? You know what I'm saying? Because I know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's bittersweet. You know what I'm saying? So, well, how do you feel about it? Like, and how does it like affect, how you get guys in and stuff?
Yeah. So it's like it's a lesson, right? So the portal for me, when I look at it, is if you don't know what you was doing going in to college, the portal just makes it even harder, because you chose a school that you probably shouldn't have went to in the first place because you had no guy to go on the front end.
Yeah.
And then now who navigates you through the portal? Is it a good tool if you at this program, you made a mistake, but you kind of got some leverage and you can move on? Sure.
Yeah.
But for the most of these people, they're like getting in and getting out thinking it's an easy fix.
Yeah.
So for programs like what we have at RPA, it's the development on the front end makes you more knowledgeable and asking questions like, okay, what's your plan and what's your value? What do you actually want from the school, and does the school have it? So the portal for me is no different than high school.
Okay.
But if you don't use it right, it becomes a black hole, because once you're in it, you ain't getting out.
I looked at it like, it's a blessing, don't get me wrong, in disguise for a lot of guys who are balling or whatever, and then for whatever situation, like, they come in and get this other guy, and, maybe you got hurt or whatever, and now you're trying to come back, and this is the starter, and all right, let me transfer out. But I feel like, it kind of makes guys like almost not accountable for committing to that school. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of leads them to where, like, you don't have to have it not figured out, but you don't have to have a goal necessarily. Like, well, I can go to this school, like, or, you know what I mean? Let's just say, oh, TCU want me. All right, well, shoot, I go to TCU, but if anything happens, shoot, I could just transfer out.
Then that leaves them with the, if you're going from school to school to school to school, and then you don't have nothing because consistency is not there.
Yeah.
Your ultimate goal of going to the league is dwindling every time you transfer.
Yeah. Okay.
So if your goal is the league, and you already got stats. So especially like those guys who actually like played and got stats, why leave? Right? You know, somebody needs to be in your ear saying, hey, look, you had 1,000 yards receiving at this school. Why would you leave and possibly get 450, 600?
Yeah.
Just to be at a bigger school, right? Because now it looks like your production has dropped. Because nobody's trying to go through the whole, well, he transferred here and it, you don't want to hear all that, right? And then if you're not taking care of your body and stuff like that, like you're not professional, you shouldn't be in the portal if you don't have that professional about you, you know, because you don't have an agent. There is no agent for you to transfer. You're pretty much doing it on your own. Some people do have agents, but for the most part, you're not doing it like how you did it in the league, where it was like, hey, such and such want you, this the deal on the table. I don't think we should take it. It's parents saying, yeah, leave him. He'll play you, whatever. But now the rule is too, like if your head coach leaves. Now I'm all cool with that. If your head coach leaves and he brought you in and you don't know where you fit at with new staff, okay.
When did they come up with that?
Well, that's been the thing though. So that's been like you can transfer if your head coach leaves.
I didn't know that.
But now the portal also says if your head coach leaves or hardships at home or whatever, you can transfer. They just using it now as if I ain't getting no playing time.
Yeah.
So now there's a rule now that you get that one-time transfer. If you try to transfer again, it can't be because of playing time. It can't be because of this. It can't be because of that. They like tighten it down now. But at first it was like, if you don't like it and you out, you out.
Yeah, gone.
And then dudes end up with nothing, and then they blame the school.
Yeah.
But then you got to look at transfer credits, hours, does this class go over here?
Yeah.
It's not just I'm up and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
It's can your academics transfer with you too?
Yeah.
Because your degree, you might leave school and be 10 hours behind eligibility wise.
Yeah.
So now you're not playing either way it go.
Yeah.
So you had no plan.
Right.
That's where like you saying like, you know, having a plan, knowing your words and stuff like on that. But the portal, man, if it's used right at the right time, I think it's good to get a kid up out of the situation. But if it's solely for playing, yeah, you playing a game that you ain't gonna win.
Yeah, for real.
You know.
Yeah. But and next, like, so do you feel like, and this is where my son, like, he doesn't, I have a battle with him on him, like trying to get him to understand that, like, he wants to do a lot of, you know, the 7-on-7 stuff and, you know, the Army All-American games and stuff like that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's like, well, this guy's on there and he's, you know, he's got off, he's 8th grade but he got offers from da-da-da and da-da-da and all this. And I'm trying to tell him, like, you know, that's cool, that's fine, like, you know what I mean? But ultimately it don't matter right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it don't matter until, you know, let's see when he's, you know, at his junior and senior in high school. Then we'll see where he at. But a lot of these kids, like, it's like they almost think like that you can get a scholarship based off 7-on-7 type stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, well, he's a number 1 7-on-7 player, whatever, like, but we didn't grow up like that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't available to us. Even if it was, like, I still wouldn't have went that route. Like, I don't care nothing about all this 7-on-7 stuff. But, like, how do you feel, you know, about it? You know what I mean? And, like, what would you tell your son?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how to deal with it and all that.
The easiest thing to say is there's two types of offers, right? There's a marketing offer, and then there's an offer to actually come play on my team.
Yeah.
So a marketing offer would be, I know this kid is Jeremy Kerley's son. Yeah. I don't really want him, but I'm gonna offer him just so he can post it. Now my team's on the map. If your son wants to go to a certain school, I would go visit that school first, see what they need, see what they like, meet the coaches, and then use the 7-on-7 as an opportunity to be intermixed with that. But you're not gonna get an offer from 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Because if you do, I would question that and say, why you offered me from something that, because even dudes in the NFL do a pro day and they gotta still go watch the film and still do some other stuff too. So it's like, yeah, it's good to be in shape. It's good to show your athleticism, but 7-on-7 is not gonna get you an offer.
Yeah.
Those bowl games are not gonna get you an offer.
Yeah. Ultimately, 7-on-7 is not. It's not real football.
It's not real football.
Yeah.
And the All-Star games aren't real football because the concept, you're not running a real concept.
Right.
So you're pretty much doing all-star work. But if you're going to go showcase yourself against those dudes who got the offers, cool.
Yeah.
But don't go in there thinking like, oh, if I dog him out, somebody's going to offer me on the field.
Yeah.
No.
Well, like that's gonna catapult me up to this category.
You're putting that on the map. But you need to use that film as your portfolio of saying, hey, this is what I did against this guy who y'all offering. This is what I did against this dude who y'all offering. Every game I did this and this against the dude that y'all are offering.
Right.
But not, they're going to see me.
Yeah.
Because once the school offers a kid, especially if they're in 8th grade, they're not watching him every time he do something. So they ain't about to watch him every game.
Exactly.
But if you're filming that and you like, this is what I did against this dude. And even if you don't get seen by the school, you now can gauge where you at.
Right.
Because if he got offered and you out there murdering him, okay, at least I know I know my worth.
Yeah.
I'm up here.
Yeah.
Whether anybody offered me or not, I know where I'm at against this pool of people. But I wouldn't even put too much into the rankings, 7-on-7, none of that. I'm like, because you're going to see in about 4 years,
Right.
half them boys ain't going to be nowhere.
And that's what I try to tell them. Like, you know, it's a lot of stuff that come into play between now and when they get to their senior year.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's genetics, work ethic, you know what I mean, whatever. But like,
yeah,
a lot of the stuff comes into play. And he's like, well, you know, I don't understand, I get that or whatever, but you know what I mean? A lot of these kids, like, it's just, it's what they see, like, it's what looks good. You know what I mean? Like,
and you got to play in it too. So as a dad, I would play into it too, right? But also you taking note, like, okay, this is, we need to work on against this. And
yeah,
you let him enjoy it, but also know, like, yeah, if that kid got an offer and he ain't really like that, and my kid is not really competing, yeah, we got some work to do.
Yeah.
Or if he got offers and my kid like head above shoulders, I got to find the next thing to test him again, to see how much he wants to actually do it too.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is something that we battling with my son right now. It's so he doesn't, in his school and stuff, like they don't do a lot of the, you know, 7-on-7 stuff or whatever, like, and he doesn't like branch out. Deshaun doesn't branch out with other teams and stuff, doing 7-on-7 and stuff. So like this is his first time, you know what I mean, like doing like outside of school 7-on-7 stuff. So he had got offered to play, you know what I mean, in an Army All-American game. But he goes to the practices and stuff, and he's not getting a lot of those reps and opportunities because these coaches know these other kids. You know what I mean? A lot of these coaches brought these other kids in to play in that game, you know. So it's like he almost let himself, you know what I mean, get like discouraged, you know what I'm saying? Like he'll get down on himself because he like, you know, I'm in practice. I know I'm better than him. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out there literally, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, routing the guy up that he can't route up, or, you know what I'm saying, catching more than he and all that. And I'm like, I struggle with like getting him to understand, like, it's not that he's better than you is why he's at his position. It's like sometimes in football, it's not just how good you are, it's, you know, who know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I almost don't want him to play in some of these games because I'm like, I don't want it to mess with him mentally. You know what I'm saying? To like start making him get a mindset of, well, you know, I ain't better or better than this dude or whatever it is. But like, you know what I mean? It's like I try to get him to understand, like, them Army All-American games and the 7-on-7 stuff, like, it's not the end all be all.
It's not. You know, but if you got a school that you're interested in and he want to go to one of those camps, just go see. Or they might have a 7-on-7 camp at these schools, right? But walk him through your process, just how we did on the interview, like walk him through like you was not the number one, and then you became the number one.
Yeah.
But you was probably like, man, I'm way better than Buddy. But when your time came, we showed it, because we don't want son to do this when it's when the number called and he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You know, so what I would just say is like keep him consistent with the competition, and if this is what he really wants, he gotta understand like the ratio. We're talking about the United States. We ain't talking about your neighborhood. So you may be better than everybody out of here, but how do you measure against this, right? So the All-American game, cool. If he plays, he plays. If he don't, he don't. If you get one play, that better be your best play, right? If you get 100 plays,
better have luck.
So it's just really, anyway, he ain't 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
Man, 8th grade, man.
Exactly.
Still,
now I say 8th grade, even 9th grade, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's still getting your feet wet. Like, when you 10th grade, because a lot of these kids, I think in the Arlington area, I don't know if it's a rule now or it was a rule or whatever, but I don't think freshmen can be on varsity. I think freshmen have to either be on JV or the freshman team. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's how it is. But so I'm like, bro, it's like don't worry about all that right now. Like your freshman year, even your freshman year, like let that be your introduction to high school football. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're starting to feel yourself. Like, but everything, matter on paper when you in that 10th grade and you're on varsity. Like, you know what I mean? That's when separate.
So you don't even really start getting serious until your junior year anyway with the contacts and evaluation, invite up. But so right now you just building up your portfolio, saying by the time my junior year come, I want to be on everybody board.
Yeah.
But you can't do that without building up your joints. Don't wait till your sophomore year. Don't wait till your junior. Which you saw at RPA, like a lot of them boys waited to the senior year, then start doing this. So you're on the right track, man. Like I just, he gonna go through the walls of, it's 8th grade. He changing, body changing, mind changing, emotions changing. It's like he come with the game. But where you are, I appreciate how you handle him too, because you're not coming at him as a pro player.
Yeah.
You went from athlete to dad.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that shit hard.
Tough.
And
it's tough.
But you're doing it though, and you can see it in his gameplay. Like you're killing it though. So, but yeah, man, like we gonna keep going.
Oh yeah.
But no, man, I'll wrap it up. But I appreciate you jumping on here, bro. Going from an athlete to a professional to retiree to a dad, right? It's a lot of steps, but you're working that joint, and y'all gonna watch my man get that degree, right? By next year.
Yeah.
So it's been a good episode, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Oh yeah. That's love every time.
Always.